All right, so I promise this is the last test I do like this. Before I say anything else, please check out my website. I'm a lot better photographer than I am a videographer. And the sun, as you can see, is like straight in my face. It's 8:25 a.m., about 18 or 19 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's well below 0 Celsius. And since I was in that position over there, under the trees and the shade and the light, you know, the really bright light and the really dark shade, and you know, in and out of that, I think that may have affected the video a little bit. I'm just trying to see where I am because I can't see the screen with sun in my eyes, but I know I'm in frame. So again, 4K 60. This time I set the DR to 200, so dynamic range 200, so that's going to increase the ISO a little bit and increase the shutter speed. I don't have a neutral density filter, so I realize shutter speed is much higher than it should be for proper video. But so this is going to be another quick test, and you know, you can evaluate the background as I'm standing here to see if there's any fluttering. You know, if you want to see how it does with the background, make sure that images, you know, the subject is in focus and the background is not kind of fluctuating a little bit, which would be a sign that the focus is a little bit off now and then. Let's see what else. So it's set to the highest. The tracking is the lowest sensitivity and the AF speed is the highest. Face and eye detect is on, and I'll try to make this short as possible because I've already been through this several times. But again, this is the Fuji X-H2 with the Sigma 56mm f1.4. The camera and the lens both have the latest firmware update as of November 19th, I guess it is it 19th? 2022. So again, I'm just going to step in and out of frame, and I'm curious to see what the DR looks like, you know, the dynamic range, see what the image actually looks like, if there's much of a difference. Really all it does would be protecting the highlights a little more. I don't think I'm using any exposure compensation on this at all right now, and I'm just using my phone to start and stop the video, but it's not live streaming to the phone. So I'm just going to go back, and hopefully at f1.4, which is what I have the aperture set to, you'll be able to see really clearly when I'm in focus. And again, the sun is straight in my face, so I can't really see the screen on the camera. And since I'm not monitoring it on my phone, I can't really see where I am in the frame. So that's why I do this once in a while. Put my hand up so I can see. But from my experience, and I realize professionals may not want to use autofocus. They want to make sure that they can control the situation completely during video, and even sometimes during photo. But this is just for anybody that's curious to see generally what the autofocus is like, and you know, during video. My experience for video and photo has been excellent. I mentioned before that I use continuous autofocus with tracking, even for static subjects when I'm shooting photos now. And the reason for that is, you know, my body might sway back and forth a little bit, or my hands might move and move the camera position a little bit. And if it's a shallow depth of field shot, then that little bit of a difference can make it appear a little bit out of focus. So I switched to using autofocus continuous with tracking. And let's go backwards to just take even still photos of static subjects. And the reason I do that is because it's been so reliable. It's almost never failed. You know, when I look at my photos, they've been very, very much in focus and where I wanted it. There may be a situation where you're taking a photo of something with a really specific focus point, like a specific leaf in a really busy scene, and you want to use a single point for that because the tracking box is a little bit bigger. So in that case, might use AFS, you know, single autofocus with a single point for the autofocus instead of tracking, which is the way I do it on my Nikon Z7 II. And that camera is still one of the most accurate that I've ever used as far as single point autofocus, you know, not using continuous autofocus. I tried the AFC autofocus and tracking on my Z7 II to compare to this, And it's pretty good. It's not too far off, I would say, but I think the Fuji X-H2 is doing better than my Z7 II for AFC and tracking. So again, I'm just in and out of the video just so you can see what the tracking looks like, or how the focus does, how quickly it acquires me. And let's go way back here. And at some point it may be kind of hard to tell if I'm directly in focus or if it's somewhere in the background. But I thought, at least, even though the sun is directly in my face, this would be a little better of a test instead of the in and out of the really dark shadows and bright sunlight that I did the last time. So it's cold, yeah, really cold, about 19 degrees, as I said. I'm not going to stay out here very long, but come up here and stop for a minute, and you can watch the background again, see if it seems to be changing. Again, I don't have a neutral density filter, so I think the shutter speed when I looked at it on camera was probably like around 1/8 thousandths of a second. And if I'm doing 4K 60, you know, normally you would double the frame rate, make that your shutter speed, so 1/20th, but or 1/25th or so. But obviously I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the very proper video here, but okay, I think we're going to stop with that because I don't want to make this too long for just something like this. See, yeah, there we go. All right, well, hope that was helpful for you. And again, it's just to do another test would be maybe just a slight bit more fair, because you know, an even lighting instead of in and out of bright light and dark shadow that I was in over here to my left under those oak trees when they still had a bunch of leaves on them, which they don't now. They're almost totally bare. They still get a lot of shadows from the trunks and everything. But all right, well, thanks for watching.